Good evening, Stanford fans. This is Abeytia for the Bootleg, reporting to you from the floor here at Maples Pavilion, where Stanford beat UConn 72-59, completing a two-game sweep over the Huskies. Over the last 2 years, of course, in between, UConn did win a national championship, and certainly the UConn team that played tonight was not a national championship contender at the moment, but they're still a legitimate opponent for sure, and this win tonight really solidified Stanford's non-conference resume. They have the win tonight against UConn, they have the win over Texas as well, and at 13-4 and 4-1 in the Pac-12 conference, it's quite possible we're just seeing the beginning of what this Stanford team was capable of. The game was close in the first half, owing mainly to a couple factors. Number one, UConn was on fire from the three-point line. They hit 70% in the first half, and that was really keeping them in the game. Also, surprisingly, Stanford was having success on the offensive boards. Unfortunately, in the first half, they couldn't turn that into points. And so you add those two together along with some missed free throws, and we had a tight three-point game at the half. In the second half of the game, however, Stanford took control. They continued to pound UConn on the offensive boards, and UConn's three-pointers stopped falling to the point that there was no way they were going to come back and recover without that shot. So a pretty resounding second half and a pretty encouraging second half performance for the Cardinal, and a pretty encouraging win overall. Amongst the things to look at, the senior trio, of course, was outstanding tonight. They led Stanford with 54 of the team's 72 points. Chasen Randall was spectacular as usual. He threw in 4 steals to go with his 21 points, or 24 points tonight, I believe. But basically, it was a senior-led performance with some complimentary help from Marcus Allen, who seems to be getting more and more confidence from the coaches as we move on towards the season. Another thing not to forget is that Stanford was shorthanded today. Grant Verhoeven did not play again, and of course Reed Travis was out. The news on Reed Travis, per Coach Dawkins, is that there is no news at this point. He's hoping to know more this week on him. The news on Grant Verhoeven, unfortunately, not looking good, as Coach Dawkins threw out the possibility that he may indeed be lost for the year, which would certainly be a blow to this team. But when you look at a game like this tonight, and you look at the way Stanford fought through a lot of adversity, and just the way they've played all season long, you get the sense that this is a team that's not scared of adversity, and you get the sense that moving forward, they're going to work at that, and they're going to move forward with whatever it is and whoever it is they have. Now, the win tonight, of course, sets the stage for the big game against Arizona on Thursday night. Arizona beat Utah tonight, so they will be probably a top 5 team when they take the floor at Maples Pavilion here Thursday. So Stanford has a huge opportunity to not only boost its resume, but to make a serious statement on the national stage. Certainly something to look forward to as this team rounds itself into shape. Just a couple closing thoughts. Over the weekend in Los Angeles, one of the things that threw Stanford off kilter in 2 shaky performances was an over-reliance on the three-point shot. In fact, in Westwood, the three-point shot accounted for over 50% of the team's points. That number went down in both the win at Berkeley and the win here tonight against Connecticut. Also, Stanford assisted on 60% of its baskets tonight. On the season, it only assists on 50% of its baskets. So there was a concerted effort per Chasen Randall and Coach Dawkins on getting the ball inside, moving the ball, sharing the ball, and you saw that in the second half. So not a lot to complain about overall. A very resounding win here at Maples, a very excited home crowd, a very raucous home crowd, and hopefully one that gets even crazier on Thursday night as Stanford takes on Arizona in a game that actually could make them a threat to win the Pac-12 conference. Chasen Randall stated very plainly in the conference room after the game that winning the Pac-12 was a goal of his, and certainly a goal of his that supersedes any individual accolades. Not surprising if you know Chasen, but definitely exciting to hear that Stanford, the players themselves, are looking at this season without a ceiling. And I think after a win tonight, you can understand why. So that's going to do it here for the Bootleg tonight. Stanford wins it 72-59. They beat the defending national champions, and they've got the Arizona Wildcats coming in on Thursday night. So for everybody at the Bootleg, this is RJ Abeytia saying good night, Stanford fans, and we'll see you on Thursday. Go Cardinal.